I'm so happy with this research and the awakening that it's brought, but it's also a dead end. There will always be opposition. We in this community are the small percentage. I imagine most of us have gone against the grain most of our lives. Some people have entered this community only to attack it, and equally I feel sorry for them, now entering into an even smaller percentage. A small percentage within a small percentage. And using all the same terminology, they end up getting shadow banned too. If I was such a person, I would just make videos for the masses, telling them how wonderful mainstream history is. How wonderful man was with his horse and buggy, all the great things he could do. I would just pat man and history on the back all day long, if I sincerely believed it, like these people seem to. Most of these alternative histories will be put in a small box on this platform and shared with the small percentage. So here's a brewery. Today's video is not about breweries, but somebody shared this in the comments. Of course this is a brewery, and it makes perfect sense to look like a castle. How great our ancestors were with their horse and buggy. Look at what they could do. Sorry, thanks for being here today. I'm not sure what I'm going to share with you all. I have a bunch of things open that I wanted to share with you. And to borrow from Adam the Woo, I hope you'll join me, shall you? Welcome. Wow, this video will be the video after I thought I recorded a 1-hour video. I'm sure we've all done this. Thank God it was only an hour. All my videos are 1-hour videos. I just edit them into 20 minutes to not waste your time. And I would hate to think that I was wasting anyone's time. This is just interesting. If you are interested in the interesting, then you're in the right place. If you have an open mind and enjoy wonderment and researching the past from a different perspective, again, you're in the right place. What a mess. I don't even know if I want to try to share the video the way I did before. And recently I will have talked about the simulation, Jason's work at Archaics, and I do believe we're in a simulation. And how would you know if things were going well in the simulation? Surely we have assistants on the outside. In religion, they would call this angels. Some are just watchers. But we've all experienced things in life where things work out, and sometimes they just don't. And I typically listen to this. If things are not working out, it's to say if you hit a dead end once, twice, 3 times, you might not be on the right course in your life as a community, and the stories you're telling are false and have led you to a broken present, which is the state that we find all nations to be in now, a broken state. And why should the old world be in ruins? America is such a young country. Why should all the ruins look like they're over 500 years old? This is Fort Livingston in Louisiana, all swamped out and in complete ruins, most of it buried. We're told this was built around the Civil War and then abandoned, not even completed. And it just comes down to the logistics. There's not roads out here, it's swampy. We're talking about a horse and buggy time period, and we need thousands of pallets of bricks out in this swampy island. And again, the logistics just don't add up. This was not built before and after the Civil War. There's no point to this fortification, not then and not now. Nor the Fort Jefferson, built with 15 million bricks at a minimum. That's just what we can see. And of course it's no longer in use as a military facility. Pre-Civil War, come on. It doesn't take rocket science to understand this. This has nothing to do with early America. But anyway, let's bring it a little closer to home. Deadwood, South Dakota, 1876. 100 measly years before I was born. 100 years. Nothing. And here you go. Here is what they would love to portray. And after doing all this research, nothing could be a greater farce. This is a movie set. This is nothing more than a movie set. And these are actors, controllers, playing a part, writing a history. So that would be fine if any town in America actually looked like this, aside from the movies, but they don't. In fact, if we were to build today, using the means that they had back then, we could replicate something like this, because really nothing has changed for 100 years. The mentality, in my opinion, is still the same. So here we see that same picture uncolorized. And now let's do what we do in this community. This is what I would call the history that they would like to portray. A population of no more than 1,000 people. And when we go snooping around this town, we're not going to see this primitive portrayal. No. First off, we have the Deadwood Hotel, the Haunted Bullock Hotel. So here we go. Stone, brick over here, super detail, 1895. Once again, brick, stone, old and weathered, and zero wood. Here we can see windows going down another story, and super detail. This ornamentation that is seen all throughout the realm, as if the same builders were here. And here we can see they've put wooden trash cans along the sidewalk. This and the cheap wooden signs are perhaps the only new addition to this town. So did we really go from this to this? They love to push an image like this one. Here we go. Wooden, crappy building, bunch of thugs, and yet when we look around we see buildings like this. The whole town is packed with beautiful brick buildings. And let's go a little deeper. How about this? Soon after completion, the Carnegie Library, 1905, Deadwood, South Dakota. Are you kidding me? Again? From this to this? Let me show you this town in color, in present times. Here we go. Now tell me where those crappy Hollywood buildings are. Non-existent. This has all been sitting here for much longer than this short cowboy history we're given. Again, these buildings go underground. How many times has this wall been rebuilt with different types of brick, and just a complete disconnect with what they tell us versus what we see? This is a town that has 6 months of good weather, and I simply can't accept that this didn't already exist. And what did they do? Did they Photoshop wood facading on this main street while they were colorizing it? I don't know. And it's no different everywhere. Here we can see this Feldschlossen Brewery, a castle recently shared with me in that past brewery video. And we see complete underground structure here under these terraces. Openings, another opening here. And again, it has nothing to do with the height necessarily. So many different aspects. Why it looks like a castle is probably the biggest point. Why the city halls, insane asylums especially, and certainly breweries. Why must they look like castles? I mean, why must they be built of brick and stone? It's just a factory, essentially, if we're to believe them. And even back to the Civil War, why must a fortification in this time period be built of 16 million bricks? In the water, nobody's attacking via boat. The battle's on the mainland. The horse and cannon battle. And so here it is. Here's everything. How are you going to explain this? How does this make any sense? Any of it? And here soon I plan on taking a trip to Glenwood Springs. Not too far from my house. Maybe 4 hours away. An old bathhouse in a beautiful little town near a river at the foot of these gorgeous mountains. And this is a town, again, of about 1,000 people. And they threw this baby up right away. It was said Theodore Roosevelt visited this hotel. And let me show you this little hotel. Somewhere down here, we follow the river, and boom, having this giant pool. And it seems like this was something old world at one point. All these structures here are old world. Let me drop the man down here. And boom, there we go. Cream colored brick, stone, couple towers, just having all the features of an older time period. It was said that Doc Holliday spent time here, and really I think those are just stories. And probably 15 years ago I spent a lot of time hanging out along this river, and I remember old massive blocks and just a lot of anomalies, trains leading to nowhere. And here's a little old picture of Glenwood Springs down by the river. And of course I don't believe in Roman ruins anymore. We must simply search for mining ruins. But again, we could approach it from all angles. These Windsor ruins in Mississippi, we are told, are the remains of a plantation. So they have hidden all of these ruins that would help us piece together our history in all kinds of different narratives, scattering them around. Breweries, insane asylums, plantations, courthouses, Carnegie libraries, fortifications, especially the fortifications. And in my opinion, it's all built before the America we have come to believe historically as a new virgin country snatched up from the Native Americans. And it doesn't end. Every day I go deeper and deeper into the more obscure, and it's all there. It becomes really easy, in fact, to sift out fact from fiction. And what they call fact is nothing more than a movie. A big movie set, told with few pictures and many stories. And once again I've been attacked and accused of not showing the construction of the Sunnyside Kilns in Utah, a site that I had visited. And here in this video, someone has said, aha, here is construction of the Sunnyside Kilns. Jon purposely left this out. And what you will notice is this is not the Sunnyside Kilns. This site has a curvature, as we can see here. A sweeping curvature. And if you recall my video, there is no curvature at the kilns in Sunnyside, Utah. While accusing me, this channel is showing false information. It says here, Sunnyside, Utah, and yet this is not the coke ovens that I visited. Next, I'd like to do a little update on my past video where I visited the coke ovens out here in the middle of nowhere. We have Price, Utah here, and here are the coke ovens that I visited. And then not far away, I was telling you about all the pyramid-like structures that I was discovering. This, we are officially told, is a landfill, and now it's temporarily closed. Look at this town. Are you kidding me? A landfill? The size of the town? Maybe 500 people, I don't know. And this place is just a big cover-up. Everything being mined and removed. And I think a lot more can be discovered out here, just buried in the foothills. But what I wanted to show you was this pyramid that I was complaining about not being able to see from the road. It's like they had purposely blocked it, or blocked its visibility. When I drove by, I could tell it was a pyramid. Let me plop the man down here. Very interesting. So here we go, and here is the pyramid. It looks much better in the footage that I took. Look how they've just scraped everything clean here, just erasing. But anyway, let's go back to this pyramid. Here we go. And I'm glad I had a look at it from the Google map here. And we can clearly see that it's a pyramid and that they've just been digging into it. Even here. Let's look on the Google Earth and see if it's any better. Here we go. And I can see it here. Now let's get a better angle. And what are they doing out here? Like I said, it had clearly been completely worked, buried, driven over, raked, and it was clear as could be. And it seems even more clear here. This was one of the parts that I could see off of the road. And here we can see all kinds of what seem like Nazca lines. And it seems like I was able to get a better angle. They're not letting me down low today. I'm always thinking about the simulation. I didn't call it the simulation before. I just called it God and the adversary, who I think is working in conjunction with God, or the mastermind. And sometimes I try to share things, as I did today, and everything goes wrong. I lost an hour screen recording, but I think it was meant to be. It was wiped from the simulation. I don't remember what I said, but it was wiped. And I accept if I'm on the right path, it will go smoothly. My life will go smoothly. Most things in my life have not gone smoothly, as if something was telling me I was on the wrong course. I spent 20 years of my life in the coffee shop business, building and running several different businesses, and every time it was absolute hell. It wasn't what I really wanted to do. My parents were in the restaurant business my whole life. They're split up now, but my father is still in the restaurant business. And a coffee shop was my version of the family business. I took all the parts that I liked and did what I knew. I think we all have this. We all know what our parents know, and sometimes we'll reluctantly follow that path. Other times not. But when I followed that path, everything went wrong for me, and I struggled, just like they did. And if I was not aware, I would just continue to beat my head against the wall. But I've always honored my spirit, or the part of me that cries within, and I could never do something that I didn't like for too long. It wasn't until I started to create my own life, moving out to my land, leaving the city and the way of life that I'd been brought up living. When I started to create my life from scratch, I received assistance. And I now believe that it's because that's what we're supposed to be doing as individuals, as a people, and that would be the point of a simulation, to figure it out. And if we just keep doing the same things, thinking the same ways, we're not benefiting anything. And if we keep doing the same thing, then I think the simulation will give us the same thing. Over and over and over until we do something different, get it right. And I've told you in a past video, I always felt like I was being watched, and like our lives and our choices mattered, not just for ourselves, but for the greater good. And I believe this more than ever now, as everything collapses around us, things that were handed to us, not our ideas, but rather ideas based on lies. I begin to see the importance and the role that we all play. We are supposed to figure this out, and we are supposed to make it better. And the problem is, for the last 150 years, we've allowed people to govern our direction. And now it seems like they've just dropped the ball. Yet some people still demand that other people fix things for them, when the truth is it's up to each and every one of us to fix this place. And we begin with our lives. Well, I think that's it. I want to end with saying I don't know. I'll never tell you I know. And be wary of channels that tell you they know and sound like Darth Vader. I love you all. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you next week.